Hello, everyone. Welcome to 1 year of growing up is weird. That's crazy. I cannot believe it's already been a year of me yapping into a microphone every week, every 2 weeks, and posting it on Spotify and YouTube. Like, that is crazy. I feel like I literally started this yesterday. I started my first episode in the car of my freshman year dorm garage, and I had like my shitty microphone and I recorded on my iPad and I was editing on Spotify, like creators. Like, I had no clue how to do anything. I mean, I still honestly am learning like every day. However, that's crazy. I cannot believe that it has been a year. And I feel like I have grown so much in the past year. So much has happened in the last 365 days. Like, I am not the same person that I was a year ago. And I feel like a lot of people can relate to that because I don't think anyone is the same as they were a year ago, hopefully. But happy 1 year. So if you haven't already seen on Instagram, I'm doing like a little photo shoot moment. I got a little cake for myself and I'm gonna, take some cute pictures and stuff tonight. Just to like celebrate, have fun and be like, yay, 1 year of doing this, like staying committed to this for a year. Because that's something that's really hard to stay committed to something for a whole year and not drop it for like months on end. Like, obviously I've had my periods of time where I haven't recorded for like 3 weeks at a time. Like, last quarter was not good at it at all. Was not, but it was also winter quarter, and anyone who goes to SCAD or anyone that knows me and knows SCAD knows winter quarter is always a crazy time. It's crazy all the time. So I've been very bad with that last quarter. However, now that it's been a year, I really wanted to just go back and reflect on everything, the past like episodes, like everything that I have been through in the past year since I started this podcast, and also talk about committing to something and how hard it is to commit to something like a podcast or creating YouTube videos or being consistent with it. And I have been thinking about this a lot recently, but if you followed me on my main Instagram, you saw that I just had a couple days of events at SCAD called SCAD Style, and I got to hear from amazing people in the industry, creatives in general, and huge fashion people. Eileen Fisher, amazing person, so sweet, so cute, loved her. But also the Los Angeles podcast, and I learned a lot from them as a podcaster. I had the honor to go to their talk and be right in the front. Hear a makeup artist, or she has her own brand too. Her name's Violette. She's great, and all of her stuff is in Sephora now, so go check it out. She's great. I actually had no idea who she was, to be so honest with you, before this week. However, such good products. So cool. I'm literally going to go to Sephora and find her stuff and tag her and be like, found her. But yeah, so Los Angeles podcast came to my class the other day, and they were talking about staying consistent in what they do. And I found this very impactful for me because that's something that I have had to be very, hard with myself on. And it's a lot of self-discipline, honestly, and keeping myself on a schedule of like, okay, I'm going to go and I'm going to post tomorrow and I'm going to record today, or I'm going to record this week so I can post this week, and really keeping myself accountable of actually doing it, because this is something I do for fun. At the end of the day, my podcast is something that I do for fun because I love to do it. I love to create content. I love to talk to people. I love editing. I love the whole process of it. So it's something that I do for fun. So it's not necessarily something that I need to do. And that, I think, also makes it even harder to keep yourself consistent with it and keep yourself accountable for posting and staying on track and all that stuff, because you don't have to do it. Like, no one's holding a gun to my head being like, you have to post on Growing Up is Weird. Like, no one's doing that. I'm doing it out of my love for creating and my love for sharing and talking to people all over. Like, that is why I do what I do. And I think that I have learned a lot in the past year about consistency and self-discipline with this podcast, and also with a million other things in my life, because, if we look back on all of my episodes, it's so weird because it's almost like it's a digital diary of my life, which is crazy because every episode has a piece of what I'm going through in that moment in time in each of them. And that's something that I honestly wasn't anticipating doing or having in my podcast. Like, I really wanted to, like, not bring in issues that I'm dealing with currently into the podcast and like all that stuff. But honestly, I think it goes to show how crazy life is and how up and down every situation in life is, and how you go through periods of time where you're really happy, and you go through periods of time where you're really sad, and you go through all these different things in the matter of 365 days, which is crazy because that is, if you really think about it, like, a year is not a lot of time to, like, be going through all these different phases in your life and all these developmental and life-altering experiences. So with that, it is crazy to really look back on everything that I have done in the past year, because a year ago, I'm trying to, like, think back to, like, I should have, like, gotten everything together, but we know me, and I just kind of, like, come on here and talk and make it all sound right. I don't know. That's part of me, is just, I just like to do it. I just like to get started and do it, which I'm working on. But, oh my god, wait, if you're watching the video version, it looks like I have, like, longer hair. Wait, that's crazy. Hello? Guys, do I grow my hair out? Okay, side note, squirrel brain. Jesus, squirrel brain. Okay. However, a year ago today, I, like, had just gotten modeling. I was in my third quarter at SCAD. I was a freshman. I was in such a different place in my life. Like, I was, like, the same, but, like, in a different font is the best way to put it. Because I feel like a year ago, I was starting to, like, branch out. I was starting to build my network. I was starting to do all these things and talk to all these people and get all these cool opportunities. But it was on such a smaller scale. And then, like, this year, I'm, like, it's, like, on a little bit of a larger scale. So it's, like, crazy to think where I'm going to be in 2 years. Like, crazy. If, like, I have already made this much progress in my career in school, my second year, like, it's crazy to think where I'm gonna be in a year. And that's not to be like, like, I'm doing so well, because I definitely have a long way to go. And I'm not just gonna, like, stop now and be like, you know what, I've made it, I've finished. Like, no, like, I continuously want to grow and grow and grow and reach my full potential. However, with that being said, it is crazy to see where I was a year ago, because I never even thought past my freshman year of college, like, to be so honest. And this is something that I dealt with in the beginning of sophomore year. I was like, I don't know what I'm doing. Like, I don't know. I'm, like, doing all these different things, but, like, what am I doing with it? Like, who am I, basically, moment. And that honestly didn't even come to fruition for me and all come together until recently, when I was like, okay, I'm getting these opportunities. I went to an open call in for modeling in Charleston last weekend, and stuff is building with that. And I, got this opportunity this past week to create content for my school and, be a part of these really cool projects. And, it's all kind of coming together for me, that it all is different but the same. All of it is influencing other people in a positive way. All of it is collaborating and networking. Like, my biggest thing is talking to people. I love people, period. Like, I love talking to people. I love meeting people. I love, all the different things and collaborating. And I feel like that is kind of the overall bubble, and everything else that I do kind of just falls under it. And that is something that I have really grown to realize in the last year, because I'm like, I always knew I wanted to do social media. I always knew that I wanted to create content, but I didn't know my why. And that is something else that I learned from Los Angeles podcast. When first of all, actually I should have started with that. Go listen to them. They're great. They inspired me so much this past week. And just because, I'm a podcaster and they're huge podcasters, like they had Hailey Bieber on their show. Like that's crazy. And I got to talk to them and I got to connect with them and I got to hear their advice and ask them questions. Like such an amazing opportunity. And I'm going to tag them in this and I'm going to, all that because I love them and I would love to connect with them again. However, side note, something that they talked about was, I forget where I was going with that. Guys, that's what happens. Where was I going with that? Now I remember. Knowing your why you're doing something, what is your purpose in doing something, because I've talked about this before, but doing everything with purpose and doing everything with an intention in mind, and you're not just like kind of aimlessly, and I never know how to say that word, guys. I never know how to say it. Hello? Like I was saying though, doing everything with purpose and being able to know why you're doing something. And that is something that is the biggest lesson that I learned in the past year. And overall, in general, in the past year, I've just learned that doing everything with purpose, staying consistent, having self-discipline and having the ability to keep yourself accountable for your own schedule, especially in the creative field and especially when you're an entrepreneur or anything of that nature, because no one's going to tell you what to do. Like, no one's telling me to record a podcast. No one's telling me to go to an open call and try and get signed to an agency. Like, no one's telling me to do any of that stuff. I am wanting to, and I am having the self-discipline to do all those things, but also manage my things that I actually need to do, like school and, work out. I need to do that. I need to talk to my family. I need to go home. I need to, sleep. I need to do all these things, like the things that I need to do and the things that I want to do for myself. And also just because I love to do extra things all the time, like the accountability and the ability to manage every different part of your life, especially in the creative field, is something that is the biggest lesson that I learned in the past year. And it took me a while, and I'm still kind of learning because I tend to get very overwhelmed. I tend to take on a lot of stuff and then not have any time. I tend to take on a lot of stuff because I'm so ambitious and I want to do all these things, but that I have no time for myself. And that is something else that I have also learned in the past year, is that I need to know when to say no. I need to know when to take a break. I need to know when it's okay to pause and say, okay, I need Fiona time. I'm not just gonna say yes to everything to the point where I can't breathe and I'm neck deep over my head drowning in work. And with that though, I also found that I was kind of doing everything half-ass, for lack of better words, because I was saying yes to everything, so I wasn't fully doing everything to my full potential because I just wanted to do everything. And it's quality over quantity in every aspect of life. I, have always wanted to have a lot of friends and do all this stuff and talk to all these people and go to all these things, but then it's how present am I in all these things, and how much energy and effort am I putting into all these things? And if I'm drowning in work, how well am I actually going to do with all of that stuff? And how present am I going to be in all of those situations and in every other part of my life? And especially for creatives, it's the necessities in life, I feel always come last, because you get so excited with the creative side. You get so excited with creating new things. You get so excited with, oh my gosh, this is so cool. I have this cool idea, that you kind of jump there and you don't really think about the things you need to do. And this is so separate, and this has to do with school and business, but this is something that I also learned in content strategy, and I could geek out about this. This is a whole different episode. This has nothing to do with this. However, long story short, whenever I was working on a project for school, I would always want to jump to the deliverables and like create the content, create the graphics, create the social media posts, create all that when I wasn't thinking about the business side of it. I wasn't thinking about the strategy. I wasn't thinking about why it would work. I wasn't thinking about the, brand in general. I was just kind of jumping to the like deliverables of it. And I honestly realized that I love the business side of social media. I love strategizing. I love knowing how the business works first and what is working on social media and how to make it even better. Like that is my favorite thing. And that is something that I also learned and realized in the past year. And I think honestly, in general, I have just done a lot of self-growth in the past year, and being able to have this podcast and being able to, talk through everything in my life on the podcast in one way or another and give advice to people and even touch one or two people, like that's all I need. Like that is all I need. It has been so rewarding to see people and hear people being like, I love your podcast. Like, I love what you're doing. Like, I listened to your recent episode and like, it was really inspiring and like this and that. Like, that is what makes it all worth it. And like, it's not about making money for me. It's not about like, that would be nice, side note, but it's not about making money. It's not about being famous. It's not about all that. Like, it's about reaching one or two people, even one or two people, reaching them and like making them feel understood and like they can come to my podcast and listen and kind of escape from something and hear about my crazy life or crazy advice that I have to give. Like that is why I do this. And that is why I love social media. Because my first episode last year was posting on social media, and it was called Back to My Roots, posting on social media. And I talked about how you should get out of your comfort zone and post and not care what people think and do it for yourself. And that philosophy for me has stayed the same and grown because of experiences that I've had already in my career. So even reaching one person and doing this for myself and creating content and editing and doing what I love, like that is what makes everything worth it for me. And because of my podcast, I was able to meet amazing people to do a photo shoot with for my podcast and also be in a magazine this summer. And that is something that is unreal to me. It's truly unreal. Like, I think I kind of forget how crazy that is, and like everything that I'm doing and all the experiences I'm having, all the opportunities I'm having, I think I just like do them and I don't really like stop to reflect and be like, wow, like I did that, like good for me, because I just kind of am like, okay, on to the next thing. But my new goal for the next year is to really sit with things that I'm doing and be grateful, more grateful, and not take things for granted, because of course I'm grateful. I'm grateful for all the opportunities that I've had. I'm grateful for everything that I've done, but really not taking anything for granted. That is my biggest goal for the next year. And also expanding on everything that I've already done. And my mom is so cute. I literally love my mom, guys. Shout out, Mom, because I know you're listening to this. I love you. She's getting me a glow up sign that says growing up is weird for my 1 year. And I literally could cry. Like, she's so cute. And I'm going to have that, and I'm going to have a little setup. She's like, we should get you chairs and have your setup and like have your light behind you. Like, we should do that in your new apartment next year. And I'm like, okay, Mom, like, yeah, like that would be great. And she's like, you could have a chair for guests. I'm like, you're perfect. Like, you're literally perfect. So that's to come. Like, I am so excited to see how this podcast grows in the next year, because it's my little baby podcast. Like, it's my little baby, and I just want it to grow even more and reach more people and all that good stuff. However, thank you guys so much for listening, as always. Thank you for coming on this crazy journey with me for this entire year. And as a present to you guys, I have created, which hopefully you guys like this, I have created a Pinterest board that I will link down below. But I'm going to continuously add to it for motivation, aesthetics, and I love Pinterest. Truly, I do. It's one of my favorite social media platforms right now. And I just wanted to create a Pinterest board for my listeners. So go check that out. That is my 1-year gift to you all. And thank you guys so much for being on this crazy ride with me for the past year. And, the people who listen every time I post and every week, love you so incredibly much. You're the reason why I keep doing this. You're the reason why I feel so motivated every week to do this and to get on here and record. And even if it's like 2 people, again, like I really, truly, it warms my heart and makes me feel so fulfilled in making other people happy and making people excited about something and like feeling like they can relate to someone. Like that is what makes me happy. So with all that being said, happy 1 year. Happy birthday to Growing Up is Weird. Also, it's crazy because my mom mentioned this to me. Again, shout out Krista. Shout out Mom, love you. I started Growing Up is Weird on 4/4/2024. 4/4/4. Did not even mean to do that. And if you know me, you know 4/4/4 is my angel number. And it's also tattooed on me for life. So that's crazy to me. I never even tried to do that on purpose. I didn't even realize until today when my mom told me. So that's just insane. However, thank you guys so much for listening. And make sure to like, comment, subscribe, do all the things, and stay up to date for what's to come in the next year because it's going to be a lot. So thank you guys so much for listening. And I will talk to you guys next time. Bye.